South, yeah.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See you, Rupert. See you.
Okay,
Go
John.
get a
See you,
cow
John.
for me, Mike.
See you, John.
Pet a cow for me.
Okay, I will.
Come on, let's say something.
John, you ought to mute yourself. I'm muting myself.
But if I mute myself, I can't hear anything.
Well, there's nothing to hear. I don't know why O'Brock isn't coming through. Oh, no sound. Here we are. Susan Love, no
That's me.
sound.
I just did that.
Well, that's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's no good. You know, we heard him fine until the meeting started.
Einberg, yes. He's in some kind of social function. Good to see him out and about. For those of you that want to keep up with some of our other members, I'm going to give you an update on 3 of them. I've received this update about Dan Carnes, club member since 2006. He has been battling lung cancer. He really appreciated the card we all sent him, and now I'm giving you an update he has provided. Positive spirit, met with doctors, Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, hopes to return to a Kiwanis meeting when his strength improves. Right. Will Diblin, he's recovering from some sort of medical term I'm not going to read. But when I was at the Wasina tap room the other day, he was there hoisting a few beers. So I think that's a good sign. Right. Past President Reggie Wood. Anybody remember Swifty LaRue? Okay, Reggie's been out a long time because of a serious stroke. Right? He just turned in K-Pad ticket money. Go Reggie. Let's see, on his way up now is Milton Hardy, who's going to do the introspection, and Harry Zuloff is going to do the pledge.
Good afternoon, everyone. Try it one more time. Y'all ain't give it to me like I need it. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Well, there's a lot of people in this room that can actually do a lot of good. And I do appreciate all the smiling faces that we do have in here, but in honor of what we're getting ready to do this coming up weekend, May the 4th is upon us. I want to read this one quote that I kind of put together in light of what we're going to do. I'm going to just make it Ewok focus, but that would not be fair. So I will say this: like the Rebel Alliance rallying against the Empire Flag, let's join hands as Kiwanis, pooling our strengths, passion, and unwavering resolve to conquer challenges and bring hope to our community, just as the heroes of Star Wars brought hope to the galaxy. I believe we can do that together. Just keep pushing forward. I'm great.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America.
to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Thank you, Harry. And thank you, Milton. So once again, we have the pleasure of guests in the room, and Andre Brooks is going to come up and introduce them to us.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President. It is my pleasure to be the person welcoming everybody here today, and we have some guests. I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming them. Guests, when I call your name, would you please rise, and then I will introduce your host, who also should rise. We'll hold our applause until everyone has been introduced. We have a special guest today from Kiwanis International. Jennifer Coffey is with the Kiwanis Children's Fund, and she's in Indianapolis. And her guest, many people, I think, but John Montgomery, I think. Darlene Lewis is a guest of Michael Brockman. Jeff Dick is back with us. After 2 months, Jeff, you have to join. And he is a guest with Hendricks. And Virginia Hudson is back. Virginia and I go way back to growing up in the same neighborhood. And I wanted to introduce her to Ed, and he, because she keeps turning up. But just the government told me I couldn't, so sorry, Virginia. Virginia and I are great friends. And her host is Cynthia Gray. So welcome to all of you. We're so glad you're here. And that's what it is.
Yes, Amy Lawson from AOA, my guest today.
Thank you. I apologize, Amy. But welcome all of you.
Thank you, Andre, and welcome again to our guests. Guests, it's important for you to know, not only are we the most active civic organization in the Roanoke Valley, also one of the largest Kiwanis clubs in the world. I think those two are related. All right, now, I'm going to give a president's message this week because last week, we elected new officers and board members, and I want to talk about that for a minute or two. You know, those of a certain age, I'm going to look around this club, I think many of you qualify, can remember a successful advertising campaign by the Baskin and Robbins Ice Cream Company. It's founded in 1945, you recall, their slogan was 31 flavors, one for every day of the month. It's now with now over 8,000 locations. They're the world's largest specialty ice cream chain. Pretty successful. When you read the business journals like I do, you'll learn the following reasons for their success. Have a strong board. They always have a strong board. Business publications and academic journals have been writing about this company for decades. They've consistently elected board members who are active and engaged, which has obviously ensured the future of the club. Now, turns out we just did the same thing, didn't we? We just elected new board members who are going to be active and engaged on our behalf. So I have a request of you. Get to know those new board members. Speak to them early and often about your impressions of our club and ask them to do the same for you. If we succeed in doing that, we'll continue to be one of the largest clubs. Thank you very much. So speaking of time and longevity, it turns out it's the beginning of the month and Gene Bollendorf is going to come up here, tell us who's getting another year older. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I know the agenda says that Jennifer's going to speak to us. She'll do it just after I saw that. So these are many birthdays, and if you're here today, birthdays in the month of May, we'd love to have you stand. May 3rd is Sheila Umberger. May 5th is Ryan LaFountain. May 9th is Emily Bailey. May 10th is Steve Bowery. May 11th is David Bowers. May 14th is Hi Nicely, who's here with us today. Luke Young is May 15th. He's also here with us today. David Points is May 16th. Is David here yet? And Bob Bradshaw is May 25th. Are you all ready to sing happy birthday? Thank you, Judy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kiwanis. Happy birthday to you.
Well done. So on our way up now is Jennifer Coffey, who's going to deliver a message to us from and about the Kiwanis Children's Fund. Hopefully she'll mention the fact that this club has benefited enormously from that organization.
I'm short. Can I do this down? Okay. Thank you. Need to grow a few more inches. Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Coffey. As they said, I'm with the Kiwanis Children's Fund. I've been with Kiwanian for nearly 2 years. I've also been working with Kiwanis Children's Fund for nearly 2 years, and I'm my current club's president. I thoroughly enjoy Kiwanis, and I love it even more because I get to see the incredible things that individuals do on the road while I go and speak about Kiwanis Children's Fund. But then I also see individuals who are giving to the Kiwanis Children's Fund who are able to impact millions more children than just right here in the community. So thank you to John Montgomery for taking my call, and Mike for allowing me to speak today. Oh, there you are, yes. Additionally, to all those in the room, I want to thank you for your personal support over the last 85 years. We've been around for 85 years, Kiwanis Children's Fund. So we are the philanthropic arm of Kiwanis International. We used to be known as Kiwanis International Foundation. We are a proud partner with clubs all around the world to ensure kids receive the resources urgently that they need to have a brighter future. Through our funding, we provide, through the donations that everyone gives, we enable clubs, just like yours, to reach more kids and to amplify the impact. So many of you have probably been aware of the Eliminate project, for those that have been around for a while. So I'm here to give you just a quick update on that. In 2010, Kiwanis and UNICEF partnered to help tackle the issues of babies dying from neonatal tetanus. Hundreds of thousands of newborns were dying an excruciating death from a preventable disease. Through the support of thousands of individuals and clubs like your own, by the campaign's conclusion in 2020, we had raised and leveraged $120 million US. This eliminated maternal and neonatal tetanus, dare you to say that 5 times fast, in all but a dozen countries. It was 87 countries. The Kiwanis Club of Roanoke played a pivotal role in that, and I want to thank you for everything you guys did to donate to the Eliminate project. It is because of you, mothers and children have had a healthy future. Since the Eliminate campaign concluded, we have been working, as we have been even during that campaign, to support as many children as possible through our Kiwanis Club program, Kiwanis Children's Fund programs. We are excited to share that last year alone, we impacted over 500,000 children through our grants that we provided to clubs. We can't do this without the support of each and every person and club. And right here in the Capital District, we awarded 3 clubs a Kiwanis Children's Fund grant in that year, which will impact thousands of children, not just last year, but for years to come. And because we are an international organization, which I love your flags here, we are not only supporting the clubs here in the United States, but we have supported at least 1 club on every continent in which there is a Kiwanis club. We hear from clubs that the need is growing and that there is more that needs to be done. Locally, one of the clubs we supported in the Capital District after the Roanoke Club was the Kiwanis Club of Ellicott City, Maryland. The club works with the local public school to assemble backpacks to students during winter and spring breaks, when free and reduced school lunches are not available. Our support through our club grant provided 150 additional backpacks of food, equaling 450 meals. Without those 150 children would not have had meals over spring break. A grant that we awarded, another grant that we awarded this year, it was in Gravette in Arkansas. We supported their completion of some projects. Their library in a neighboring town closed, and there was no library in that town for kids to go and get out, check out books. So they, along with their community, opened the library back up, and with our support from the Kiwanis Children's Fund Grant Program, we were able to support their expansion of the kids area, providing more bookcases and more books. So together we can support more clubs like yours, like the club in Gravette and the club in Ellicott City. Our goal since the conclusion of the Eliminate project has been to continue to support as many clubs as we can to ensure that the most number of kids can be impacted. Passionate Kiwanians just like you and all over the world continue to answer the call to support the work of our Kiwanis family near and far by supporting our Children's Fund. I hope that a few of you will be joining us at International Convention in Denver. While you are there, we can celebrate together the public unveiling of our groundbreaking global fundraising initiative supporting the Kiwanis community and the children we serve. It's not public yet, so I'm just going to leave you with a little teaser as to what that is. I'm going to leave you with just a simple question. What is possible? Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, for drawing our attention to the Children's Fund. Just a bit of history. It was but a few years ago when this club undertook a major signature project to put a playground in under the leadership of Sherry Hartman and Jackie Bledsoe. That project required a lot of effort and a lot of money. Some of the money came from you, some came from money we raised, and some came from that Children's Fund. It's our pleasure to continue to support that fund. So, speaking of pleasure, the KPAD team is on their way up here now. They're going to do something important, something silly, and something informative. Maybe even inspirational. Come on up.
Your enthusiasm is overwhelming. I'm holding back tears. What happened to your arm? Rotator cuff? You out for the season? I mean, no pitching this year, no more pitching. That's tough. Hey, listen, we've had a really good week and we're running a really good campaign. I want to thank you all for all you're doing. It seems to be coming together for us. So let's go to the slides. Don, the next slide. This week, Kevin Reeder's team, Grove Squadron, is up to $4,174. You can see who the top performers are there with Bert, Frank, Mike, Betsy, and Guy. Next, we have Milton Hardy at $5,889. Milton. There you go. And you can see who they are. Next, we have Joe Gaither, captain of Blue 4. His team is up to $5,916. I don't think Mike Love is done yet. He's at $1,400. Bert Nelson's got a whole bus for Brandon Oaks coming. The next slide, please. Nancy Horn has pushed her team forward with the help of Ken Briggs all the way up into third place at $6,027. Look at J.C. Taylor. Can you believe it? He did $1,000. That's amazing. Dave Spangler, Peter and Johnson turned in money this week. Ken Briggs is at $520. Gary, Dirk,
Ben,
Next
I'm
slide.
supposed to point out that Will Dibling is 50 cents ahead of what he did last year.
Will Dibling is 50 cents ahead of what he did last year, so obviously he's been in the coin jar. Lois James, the Death Star Destroyers is up to $6,846. Lois is $1,150. Don Witz at $897. Don Pendleton $850. Reeve Kessler at $653. Next slide, please. The Joe Lemurs team, this is incredible. Joe Lemurs team, 9,000. Look at Rupert Cutler. At $3,800, Rupert Cutler and his family, this is just amazing. I am so impressed.
That's the most he's ever had.
Well, and John reports that's a new high for Rupert, so he'll have something to strive for next year. This week's total turn-in was $4,450. Total in the campaign is $38,124. Had another probably 1,500, 1,600 today, so I think we're at $40,000. We're about where we were this time last year. Last year was a record number for sales of $4,700. I really hope we can push through $4,700. $47,000. I think that's absolutely astounding. If we can do that, that would be amazing. Now you can turn in money Saturday at the desk where John will be sitting selling tickets, so we can take money on Saturday. Of course, we'll have next week and the following week and possibly one more week after that to turn money in. But you can see who our top, I'm sorry?
Tickets are real cheap next week.
Tickets, I don't know. Ken Briggs was selling tickets last year for one that was 2 or 3 years ago. He reminds us all that we're not in the business of selling pancakes, we're in the business of selling tickets. All right, and you can see who the performers are this week. Next slide, please. There are this week's top performers. Rupert did another 425. Mike McElroy, 420. Pete Osborne, 351.
That's a strategic number too.
That is a strategic number. John Bradshaw, Lloyd Eating, and Sheila Humber are all at 300.
Good to hear from you.
It is good to hear from Lloyd. That's wonderful. Next slide, please. I wanted to give an honorable mention to the Action Club. You know, the Action Club comes on Friday and helps with the setup. They do an awful lot for us on Friday. And on Saturday, they are absolutely indispensable. But not only that, they sold $60 worth of tickets. I love it. Thank you all for all you're doing. We're making progress. Money to the Children's Fund, money for the community. It all goes to the right place. Thank you all.
Now, a little update on the prizes. We have 37 members that have qualified for the get the bracelet that the jewelers have donated, which is beautiful. It's sapphires and moonstones. Lois, you're still here. Her team has almost 50% turned in over 350. You have to sell your whole stack of tickets, 350. So it's not too late, of course. And for the date night, I know Joe Lemmer has kind of run away with it, but it's not too late. You got 3 more weeks, so team leaders, get your people in there, and it's a great date night.
Thanks, Amy and Ben. And yes, people are still turning in money today. We got a nice check from Mayor Lee. Thank you very much for that. And no, tickets are still full price, Don, but we're not cutting any rates. I will update you with some great news about the entertainment for the day. So just so you all are aware, we do have a wonderful MC. Jeff Kraft is going to be our MC and DJ, but we're also going to have live entertainment. So Dan Chitwood and his band are coming. Jeff is going to play for us as well. We've got Girls with Attitude coming to dance for us. And we've also got the Virginia Gentleman Barbershop Quartet. So we will have lots of great entertainment for the day. And we are also going to have a visit from a few of the troopers from the 501st Legion. So I'm very excited about that. If you're wondering what that is, that's stormtroopers. So the 501st Legion is the Star Wars Legion. And they will be visiting with us for the day. We're pretty excited about that. Thank you all very much for everything you're doing, and let's make this a great event.
Thank you, KPAD team. I'll just add that under Gene's leadership this year, there's been a robust amount of communication going out in the media, TV interviews, radio spots. It's been great. Thank you, Gene and team, for making that happen. Now, a couple announcements. They're printed on your agendas. Last week, a crew from the nature park, I understand 10 or 20 folks did some planting out at the nature park, right? We had a pollinator garden, a couple hundred plants were planted. Thank you all for doing that. This week, I want to call your attention after you've sold all your KPAD tickets and eaten all your pancakes and sausage. I want to call your attention. A couple of internal committees need a volunteer or two. The Zoom folks, the people that are broadcasting us live, need another volunteer. And setup folks who set up the drape behind me, they need another volunteer. So give them your attention as soon as KPAD is over, please. So tomorrow, prayer breakfast. And I want to make a shout out to our sponsor yet again this year. For 20 years, Hal's Motor Freight has been a sponsor of that breakfast. All right, you're all going to be out there Saturday morning setting up. You're all going to be out there Saturday with KPAD, all gonna stay late to put it away. Please, please, it's amazing how the crew dwindles on Saturday afternoon. Don't do that. So all hands on deck, it says it right here. So next week, the officers will meet, as we do every month. And next weekend, this Saturday from KPAD, the Family Service of Roanoke Valley is holding their annual fundraiser, car, bike, and truck show. And the reason that's important to us is they're allowing us to have a Kiwanis booth at that show to promote our club. The least we can do is have a few of us show up at that show Saturday after KPAD. Please join me in doing that. And then the Saturday after that is May 18th, Kids Fishing Day. You have sign-ups on your tables? Sign up afterwards. Okay. So please do that. So I've been keeping track. 7 Saturdays in a row. 7 Saturdays in a row. This club has had something going on in our community. That's my definite outreach. Thank you very much for doing that. Applause for yourselves. Applause for yourselves. Come up here and brag. Come up here and brag. For $2, anyone in the room can go up here and brag about any subject they care to brag about, as long as it's not controversial. The $2 goes into our foundation, and that money grows and then is turned around and given away to the community. Mr. McGraw.
Thank you, President Mike. I can't promise this won't be controversial because it's a brag on the Hartmans. Dave and Sherry. How many of you think you know Dave and Sherry Hartman? Raise your hands. I won't tell the doctor what you. And did you know that Dr. Dave Hartman wrote a book that was published by Playboy Press in 1978 about his struggles to become a medical doctor? Did you know that?
Yes.
Everybody here knew that except me. I'm getting my comments here. The name of the book, which I found eventually, is White Coat, White Cane, Blind Doctor's Triumph Against Incredible Odds by David Hartman, MD. He just autographed a copy of the book that I finally found. No, I'm not gonna loan it to any of you. It's too dear to me. Also, there was a movie about these two. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, now see, I'm beginning to inform you a little bit better. That movie was called Journey from Darkness, and Mark Singer played the part of Dr. David Hartman, and Kay Lenz played the part of Sherry Hartman. And I asked them how were the actors, and they said Mark Singer was very nice. I really think this is an amazing legacy that Hartman brings to this club. And I'm so proud to brag on them and to have gotten my book autographed by Dr. David Hartman. Thank you.
It's certainly good to be here today. Last week, I was actually out of town. I had a chance to go back home to Detroit, Michigan, where they hosted the NFL draft. And for me, that used to be our Super Bowl, really, as a Lions fan. But they set a record for the most attendance to ever have at a draft. They averaged about 233,000 people a day. So in total, 700,000 people. Now, that's not really what I'm bragging about. What I'm bragging about is it's taken me 10 years to find something that I have looked for a long time. If any of you have seen Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy from the 80s, I have been on the hunt for his Detroit Lions jacket, and I finally found it at the draft. So that's what I'm bragging about. I'll wear it one day when it's full.
I just want to quickly recognize the folks who joined our Guru of the Garden, Cynthia Gray, on Saturday. Many hands made it possible to get all those plants in the ground in one morning. So I want you all to stand up who showed up to help us. Don Witt, Joe Lemmer, Cynthia Gray and her son Taylor, Nancy Ford, Bruce Swanson, and I don't know, is Addie here? Our new Kiwanian came and took photographs of our plants, and that was Addie Lucchesi, I think you say her name. So thank you all so much. This was arduous work and work well done. Thanks, guys. Thank you all. Thanks so much. I just want to give a quick shout out to Joe Gaither, who is putting together an amazing spring fun day for June 1st. Pulling together an enormous number of collaborating organizations. And there is another planning meeting Friday, right, Joe? 8 a.m. Show up for that too if you want to help with Spring Sunday. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. So, with us today is Scotty Hartman. Lois is going to do the introduction. I turn the microphone over to you too.
Hi, everybody. I have known Scotty. We weren't going to say it, but we're going to say it. I've known Scotty for almost 20 years. We started working together back in the senior healthcare industry when I first moved back to Roanoke. And so it is, I'm very excited to introduce my dear friend today to tell you about her, what she is doing currently. So let me read the official introduction. So Scotty Hartman is Vice President of Business Development at Good Samaritan Hospice, having joined the team in 2022. A graduate of Roanoke College and the Management Institute, Scotty has been in healthcare for nearly 30 years. Scotty is President of the Salem Rotary Foundation, Chairman of the YMCA Board of Directors Annual Campaign, a member of the Roanoke Regional Chamber Board of Directors, and a certified fundraising executive. She is wife to Howard and mama to Jackson. Scotty enjoys tailgating, entertaining, decorating, and anything to do with Glenbrook football. So help me to welcome Scott. Right, we're gonna get all plugged in.
Y'all, thank you so much for having me here. What an honor. Listening to all that you all do as a Kiwanis Club makes this humble, faithful Rotarian in me. So, the Rotary better watch out. And congratulations for your upcoming event on Saturday. Let me get logged in, if I can remember my password. Hopefully by now I can. There we go. All right, Lois, thank you for that kind introduction. I tell you, I stand before you all, having been a part of this Roanoke Valley my whole entire life, and I see so many friends out here in the audience, and certainly want to give a special shout out to Mayor Lee and to Deputy Reynolds for their tremendous partnership with Good Sam as we have made the transition from Roanoke County to Roanoke City, all a part of our service area. But thank you all so very much. All of what Lois said is true. I tell you, I'm so thankful to have had my career here in the Roanoke Valley. But I want to talk with you all today about Good Samaritan and what it means to me. So I want to introduce you all to the true heart of the matter. You can see there is my wonderful husband, Howard, and my son, Jackson. If you all see a black Dodge truck, he has his learner's permit, so be careful, okay? He has not yet mastered, you don't have to have the speed limit when the light turns green, so watch it. But yeah, Jackson, he's the starting center of the Glenbrook football team, so go watch him. But over there on the right is a picture of my beautiful mom and dad, my angels. I lost my mom a year ago in January, so I too am going through a grief process for her. But I want to turn the attention to my handsome dad, who was actually one of the very first Good Samaritan hospice patients back in 1992. Dad was the purchasing manager of Valleydale. You all remember Hooray for Valleydale. In his mid-50s, he started having a lot of trunk pain in his lower chest. And they started to think, of course, it was cardiac because he was a businessman. Well, unfortunately, it was not that. Dad was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer the Monday after my senior prom. Quickly, we realized the advanced state of his illness. It had metastasized to his lungs and also to his bones. So quickly, hospice was introduced to us by Dr. William Bentell. And I'm sure you all hear the word hospice, you had the same response as we did. That this was given up, that the game was over. There's no more that we could do, that it was up to God now. All we wanted to know was that his pain could be managed and that he had a good quality of life. And then that's when Sue Ranson, our founder at Good Sam, was his nurse, and she knocked on our door. And she taught my mother and me that, we are not giving up. That hospice means how we are gonna own this time and how we're gonna refocus hope on the time that we have left. She let us know that there are many, many firsts that come along with hospice. Now, how many of you all in the room have had any kind of experience with Good Sam or another hospice? So many of us have. And what we quickly learn is that truly the sooner we can have hospice intervention, the quicker we can get pain under control. And that's when some new things can take place because you're owning the time. You're not back and forth with doctor's appointments or going back and forth to treatments, but we're refocusing on what the time is that we have. Our Good Samaritan mission is to affirm life in the midst of illness and grief, and above all to honor what matters most to each person and family served. And we do that through our hospice and palliative care. We currently have some commercials running for Good Sam that says hospice is where love gathers. And you see families, having a meal together, grandparents reading to grandchildren, we don't always hear the happy stories of hospice, because too often it's a sound that people are usually very sad. But I wanted to share with you all a couple recent stories that we had. One of our hospice patients wanted to go to Disney World with her family one more time before she knew that the end was getting close. So we moved heaven and earth, and we coordinated with the good people of Disney to make sure she had a wheelchair and oxygen and all that she needed. And darn if she didn't ride the Aerosmith roller coaster and the Tower of Terror and all the awesome things. And when she got back, she said, "What have I got to lose?" It was a great experience. It was such a victory for our team to see that instead of being down in that hospital bed, she was comfortable, she was with her family, and had the time of her life. We also had a gentleman that came out from the hospital, long-term cardiac patient. And the doctors really did not want him to leave the hospital, but he insisted he wanted to be home. And like a good Roanoke railroad man, he wanted to be near the model trains that he had built his whole life. And he also wanted a country ham biscuit. He had wanted this biscuit for 15 years. So we were able to bring him home, and we didn't get him just one biscuit, we got him two. He said that was the best biscuit he'd ever had. But while he was with us only a short time, for a couple of weeks, he got to be at home, surrounded by the familiar, surrounded by people and things that he loved. And there might have been one or two more biscuit moments. Just some quick general facts about hospice. It's, certainly about refocusing hope. To qualify, with Medicare guidelines, a physician has to certify that a life expectancy is 6 months or less. Sometimes patients do improve on hospice to the point that they can actually graduate or readmit when they need the care. Hospice is about caring for the whole person and family, their physical, social, emotional, and spiritual needs, and it aggressively manages pain and symptoms at the end of life. The hospice team can include your doctors, nurses, social workers, hospice aides, our spiritual care coordinators, volunteers, bereavement, and anything that you need based on what your needs are. And sometimes people even have to send therapy for dietary needs, physical, speech, and occupational. So there's certain parameters to make sure someone's comfortable, and everyone's journey is different. People often wonder who pays for hospice care. And hospice is certainly reimbursed by Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, private pay, or family funded. And let me tell you, Good Samaritan is the only nonprofit community-based hospice in the region. We would never turn someone away due to their inability to pay. Last year in 2023, we gave $500,000 worth of uncompensated care back to the community. And that's what our mission is. We will never rebuild a family for something that insurance did not cover. We're so thankful to have the generosity of the Roanoke Valley that enables us to do that. And sometimes it's a combination of pay source. Hospice can be provided in someone's home, a long-term care or assisted living community, independent living, even in the hospital, a hospice resident, or even where the patient lives, wherever home is. We have had patients before that have been in transitional living settings, and that's okay because we believe that all are entitled to a death with great dignity. Now, I'm sure you all are hearing a whole lot about our move to Cove Road and what we're building. And we are opening the only freestanding hospice house in the region. We will continue to do all of our home hospice and palliative care, but this is a 16-bed inpatient unit for those whose needs can no longer safely be met in the home. And you think about some of our respiratory patients who have advanced oxygen needs, or someone who is in a pain crisis. We do see some of our patients who still have young children in the home, And that can often be a very difficult time for those young children. And so these patients would be able to come to our hospice house. And we also will do respite stay. Medicare allows for a 5-day respite stay, so that way everyone can get a break sometime from caregiving. And also, this is gonna be such an advantage for the local hospitals who have folks that need a nursing home bed but don't have a pay source, especially if they're end of life. We're gonna be able to significantly assist the hospitals with that, and we are so thankful. It is set to open later in 2024, and our ribbon cutting is June 7th, and so everyone is invited. You'll see a lot of coming out on social media about that, but June 7th at 10 a.m. I want to show you a picture of it. That's how it is right now. And this is how it was. You can see this was the initial structure of our hospital house. The gentleman on the left is Aaron Hausch, our president and CEO. He is a tremendous leader who truly, truly lives our mission. And to his right is Sue Ransom, our founder, my sweet values nurse, who was literally writing our mission on the internal structure of that building. We went up as a leadership team and were able to write words, scripture, things that mean something to us. And I'm so proud to say that both my mom and my dad's names are on the inside of that building, on the inside of mine. It means a great deal to us. There is not a corner or a door on that building that has not been prayed over or blessed for us to honor our mission with every person served. Whoops, went back. Bear with me. All right, so I wanted just to briefly mention about how to talk about hospice, that it truly means help. And that the first question we ask is, what is most important to you right now? We talk about goals of how people want to receive care. What's your goal about returning to the hospital? Who wants to go back to the ER? Not us. Test, do you want to remain home? How aggressive are we gonna be? And it's all about planning for the future. You know, anyone can make a referral to hospice. Family and friends can often call, and then our intake team can get in touch with someone's physician, because sometimes families aren't sure where to turn. Hospice will set up a visit to establish eligibility, and then you make the decisions, because hospice has to align with what your goals are. And you can always remote hospice, and you can start when appropriate again, because sometimes people do have a different disease trajectory. It's just all about the individual. There are two huge myths about hospice. One of those is that hospice means giving up, and it doesn't. It means aggressively pursuing what matters most. And some believe that hospice medications can hasten death. And once doses are adjusted, life becomes pain-free and more manageable. Think about President Jimmy Carter. He's been on hospice greater than a year and able to endure a wonderful quality of life. And his family has blessed us all with allowing us to share their journeys and see how long hospice can truly benefit a family. In addition to our hospice line of care, we also have our palliative care. And that's a disease support program that we have for those that are not yet ready for all that hospice means. It's another set of eyes and ears just to help you through what's going on. And many people can still seek curative treatment, including chemotherapy, while they're also having palliative care. It's a wonderful safety net, and that way as people progress through their disease process, we can monitor and are able to help them step in. Just a couple final thoughts. Hospice is about more than helping people die with dignity. It's about helping them live out their life with love. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Anything you'd like to share about the hospice experience? Yes, sir.
You say, decisions have to be made immediately. Person that's going to hospice or the family?
That's a great question, thank you. At all times, we want the patient to be the person to make the decision. That's why advanced directives are so important. When you think about what you want at the end of life before the time comes. Because these situations can become incredibly emotionally charged. And that way, when everyone's clear about what the patient wants, that's exactly what we'll do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Repeat the question.
Sure, I'm sorry, I forgot to repeat the question. Our nice friend was asking, about our hospice facility, and if it was also still possible to receive hospice in the home. And yes, ma'am, most of our hospice patients are in the home. This unit is just for those situations for a temporary basis that need a significantly higher level of care. We normally have over 100 hospice admissions every month. It's never about a count, it's about that many families that we're able to serve. So we have a really large volume we're blessed to be able to handle. Thank you for your question. Yes, sir.
My mother passed away in hospice at the age of 99. The experience was a wonderful one, both for her and for her family.
Thank you for sharing that. The gentleman was saying that his mother was on hospice in hospice care at the age of 99 and had a wonderful experience. And that's the truest form of our mission, to be able to be there and provide that for everyone. We're so thankful to have that for sure. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, sir.
You mentioned Roanoke County or city, you're acknowledging some change, but you're not restricted to services in the county.
Correct, thank you. He was asking about where our services are located. That was just the geography of our headquarters. We serve a 50-mile radius of our address on Cove Road, and then another 50-mile radius around our New River Valley office in Christiansburg. So we actually serve and touch about 14 counties, so thank you for that. Yeah, we were really fortunate to find this property off of Cove Road. Y'all know where Sheets is on Peters Creek? They can never move that Sheets, y'all. It has to be, that's where we tell everyone to find us. But our property backs up to Carmax, and we're right across from St. Elias Catholic Church. When we found the property, there was only one problem. You know what that was? It wasn't for sale. But luckily we were able to get in touch with the owners, who were very, very honored that hospice was interested, and we're able to make the deal and to allow us to come into Roanoke City. We love that location as well because we're so convenient to Interstate 81 and able to meet Lewis Gale, Roanoke Memorial. And we also have the outlier hospitals too. I got here in less than 10 minutes. Didn't even get a ticket. All right, any other questions? Y'all, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Scotty. It's an important subject. We now know how seriously you're taking it, how much you're giving our community doing so. We have an honorarium for you, which is going for the Good Sam Hospice Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I believe, if I recall correctly, before the meeting started, Scotty said something to me about pens. So help yourself. She's got a stack of them. She's told me they're out front in the lobby. And why don't you come by and chat with her too after the meeting's over as well. So next week, we're gonna have the benefit of listening to Stephanie Manbeck, co-owner of MAM Farms. Now pay attention, this is interesting, all right? We heard the birthdays today. We heard that Emily Bailey's birthday is May 8th. What day of the week is that? Next Wednesday. She's gonna come here to introduce next week's speaker. That was weak, so give me stronger applause when I then tell you the following. Next week's speaker has worked with our own Amy Carter, and next week's speaker is donating hamburgers for all. Now applaud.